This robot lost its head, and kept fighting the hook in the viral moment. Imagine you're watching what looks like an ordinary cage fight. The crowd is screaming, the arena lights are blinding. Inside the cage, two full-sized humanoid robots are throwing brutal punches, dodging kicks, and slamming each other into the steel mesh. It looks like a high-budget Hollywood movie. Then it happens. One robot takes a devastating heavy right hook straight to the jaw. Boom! Its head flies completely off, bouncing across the canvas. You expect the referee to step in. You expect the fight to end. Instead, the body keeps moving. For a few surreal, terrifying seconds, a completely headless metal gladiator is still throwing punches, shifting its weight, and trying to fight back in the center of the ring. If that sounds like a CGI clip from a sci-fi thriller, it isn't. This actually happened during a humanoid robot combat event in China, and the internet has been absolutely obsessed with the footage. But here's the thing, the viral clip isn't the biggest story here. The incredible and slightly unsettling technology behind it is. Let's break it down. The first question everyone asks when they see the video is, how on earth can a robot keep fighting without its head? The answer is actually much less mysterious than people think, but it reveals a massive fundamental shift in how modern machines are built. Unlike humans, a robot doesn't necessarily keep its brain in its skull. The anatomy of a bot. Many advanced humanoid robots place their main computer, heavy lithium batteries, communication hardware, and primary motor controllers deep inside the heavily armored torso. The head, it's mostly just a sensory pod. It houses cameras, microphones, depth sensors, and maybe some LED displays. Stripping the head off is the equivalent of breaking the windshield and the headlights of a car. It blinds the vehicle, but it doesn't instantly shut down the engine. But wait, if it was blinded, how was it still throwing punches? This brings us to the second major detail the viral headlines missed. Teleoperation. These specific robots weren't thinking for themselves. They were being controlled remotely by human pilots wearing VR headsets and motion capture suits. So when the head detached, the robot's central processing unit in the chest was still alive. The wireless receiver was still blinking. The human operator, likely running on pure adrenaline, was still frantically mashing the controllers. The control system kept sending rapid-fire commands to the limbs for a few short seconds before the system fully realized its eyes were gone. It looked like a zombie movie. But mechanically, it makes perfect sense. Now, here is where things get truly interesting. Why would anyone organize and risk millions of dollars worth of hardware on robot cage fights in the first place? Because violence exposes engineering weaknesses faster than almost anything else on Earth. Think about it from a developer's perspective. Walking across a perfectly smooth, air-conditioned laboratory floor doesn't tell engineers very much. But getting violently punched, getting kicked in the ribs, falling flat on your back onto hard canvas and attempting to stand up again while under attack. Those brutal situations reveal critical hardware flaws that months of simulation testing might never uncover. Every single impact generates priceless engineering data. Which titanium joint sheared off first? Exactly how many newtons of force did it take to snap the neck? How quickly could the software re-stabilize the center of gravity after a shove? Did the electric motors overheat when trying to overpower the opponent? These brutal answers are what help engineers build the next generation of indestructible machines. It's actually identical to the philosophy behind Formula One racing. F1 isn't just about entertaining millions of fans with fast cars. It is a multi-billion-dollar mobile engineering laboratory. The extreme stress testing done on the racetrack, pushing engines, brakes, and aerodynamics to the absolute brink of destruction is exactly how the technology in your everyday sedan becomes safer, lighter, and more efficient. Robot combat is quickly becoming the Formula One of humanoid robotics, and that is a much bigger deal than one viral clip. Now, let's address the anxiety. A lot of people saw that headless robot moving and immediately thought, great, autonomous killer robots are finally here. Take a deep breath. That's not what this is. As we established, these machines are heavily dependent on human operators. The onboard AI isn't plotting world domination, it's doing the unglamorous, heavy-lifting math, handling micro-adjustments for balance, calculating joint angles, and preventing the robot from tripping over its own feet. Today's humanoid robots are marvels of engineering, but they are still a long way from becoming independent autonomous MMA champions. That said, the velocity of this progress is staggering. Look at the timeline. 5 years ago, most humanoid robots struggled to walk across a flat room without looking like a toddler learning to stand, frequently collapsing into expensive heaps of metal. Today, They are sprinting, navigating rugged outdoor terrain, doing backflips, working on real automotive assembly lines, and sorting logistics packages. And now, they are absorbing high-impact blunt force trauma inside fighting cages. Each successive generation becomes lighter, stronger, more agile, and exponentially more resilient. Researchers aren't watching these events because they want a real-life robot UFC. They're watching because every broken component becomes a lesson. Every successful recovery becomes a line of open-source software. Every single competition accelerates the timeline of what these machines can do. So, where does this technology actually go once it leaves the arena? The exact same motion algorithms allowing a robot to maintain its balance after a heavy punch will one day allow a rescue robot to stay upright while carrying heavy medical supplies through a hurricane zone. The ruggedized joints built to survive combat impacts will allow automated workers to survive dangerous, unpredictable construction sites or collapsing mines. The software learning to navigate a chaotic cage fight will eventually guide autonomous responders over earthquake rubble to dig out trapped survivors. Even space agencies are monitoring this data closely, because a robot that doesn't need oxygen, doesn't get fatigued, and can survive physical trauma is the perfect candidate to build the first habitats on Mars. Events like this aren't just entertainment, they are stress testing the future of human labor and disaster relief. So, should we be worried? Honestly, don't lose sleep over a headless robot moving for 3 seconds. That's just clever engineering. What should get your attention is the sheer exponential speed of this development. Every year the hardware gets cheaper, the software gets smarter, and the gap between science fiction and our daily reality shrinks to almost nothing. Technology rarely moves in a straight line. It moves agonizingly slow, until suddenly, it feels like it changed the world overnight. So when you see that viral clip pop up on your feed again, don't just laugh at the decapitation. Ask yourself a bigger question. If today's prototype robots can survive a brutal cage fight, what will tomorrow's machines be capable of? If you want deep breakdowns of the real tech shaping our world without the hyperventilating hype, hit that subscribe button because the future isn't arriving someday, it's already stepping into the ring.